This show is made possible by JC Media, LLC in Ripley, Mississippi. JC Media owns the Shark 102.3 Classic Rock FM radio station where the show is hosted, and Sun Bear Recording Studio where the interviews are recorded. We need your feedback and support. If you listen to the podcast on a player like iTunes, Google Podcasts, or Amazon Music, please subscribe to the show and leave us a review. We also have an email in which you can share your feedback. That email is theshark1023@gmail.com. Subscribe to our podcast on your favorite app or stream episodes online at shark1023.com/podcasts. Today's episode was produced by Melinda Marsalis. It was edited by Rick Williams and engineered by Chris Marsalis. The podcast technician is Joyce Grady. Historic, cultural, natural, scenic, and recreational treasures of the Mississippi Hills that are right in your backyard. And of course, we want you to take the Shark 102.3 FM along for the ride. Musical credit belongs to Hill Country Blues guitar legend Gary Burnside and the late great Buddy Grisham, playing Long Way Home from their album Acoustic Brothers, which was recorded at Sun Bear Studio in Ripley, Mississippi.
This program was recorded at Sun Bear Studio in Ripley, Mississippi.
Hey, Shark fans, it's Melinda with another episode of Heard It on the Shark. And today in Sun Bear Studio, I have with me Miss Leslie Marlar, who is the career coach at Tishomingo County High School. Leslie, thanks so much for driving over.
Totally have been excited about this since we first spoke on the phone. Excited to give back and come talk to you because you have always given back to us and taken the time to drive over to Tishomingo County and work with our students and bring exciting activities every time you come that really motivates them to learn more about your career.
Well, you're so fantastic. Nobody else has asked me to come over and speak to their students or go to their career fair. So it's really nice to get invited to do things. And I always find a kid or two out there who is interested in some sort of tertiary way about radio business. So I'm real thankful to you.
Well, we truly appreciate it, especially even the career fair like you just mentioned. You're always a popular table and booth for the children to stop by and just get to meet you in general, but also to hear more about your job.
It is so much fun to meet the students. Now, tell me how long there has been a career coach at Tishomingo County.
Okay. Our group of career coaches basically kicked off in October of 22. I retired from teaching after 25 years and just ran right into this job, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it. It was an easy transition just being a teacher coming into a career coaching job because you have that sense of school and how it's run, and it was easy to try to find my way and fit in. So we've been doing this about 2 years now.
And it's been you the whole time?
Yes.
You were the very first career coach they hired?
Correct.
Okay, and explain to our listeners how the career coaches fit into the school business because you're not hired by the school.
Correct. We're hired by Three Rivers Planning and Development out of Pontotoc. They run our show, so to speak, through the grant money that they're in charge of. And I was welcomed in and given an office and just made to feel a part of the whole school system. Ms. Christy Holly is our superintendent, super lady that has always just made me feel welcome, and also all of my admin just doing what they can to help me meet with the children and just giving me my spot and making me feel a part of it all, which was really great.
So give me in a nutshell what a career coach is tasked with doing.
Okay. Our main objective is to help all of the students find a career that fits them the best and not just feel like they have to choose what they've always heard, the typical teacher, doctor, lawyer, veterinarian. That's what we hear across the board. And I know as a student myself, and I became a teacher, you didn't hear about every career possibility. And so I feel like my job is to get as many different people in to talk about their careers, all of the different, it's not just about nurse and doctor. there are so many, like just take medical, for instance. There's so many different possibilities that they haven't even heard of. And you can see them when they hear something for the first time in the classroom. We have our CCR classroom that's very open to me being able to come in because that's what they're doing, college and career readiness. And Miss Tanisha Jeffries is a wonderful lady to work with. She's their teacher. So you can just see them get excited about hearing something new, like surgical tech. That's a 2-year program, and some of them want to go into medical, but they don't want the 4-year or the 12-year doctor, but they want to help. And that's where I guide them lots of times when they say they want to help. Just start looking at all of the different categories within the medical field.
Yeah, knowledge is power.
Yes.
And you're just giving them so much power by teaching them what's out there and then let them choose. So you help them. I assume that you have students that you help guide if they want to go into the military. Some want to go into tech careers, 2-year degrees, 4-year degrees, and you just help them whichever way.
Whatever they think they're interested in, we start with that. I usually start a little conference with them. What do you like? And I don't mean tell me what you think you want to do. Tell me something that you enjoy doing. And for instance, we had one young man, his mom really wanted him to do one particular thing. And by talking to him, I knew that he did not want to do that. And that's a touchy subject because, your parents behind you, they back you up. They want what's best for you. They know what you're capable of. But he was not interested in that. So we just sat and talked about things that he liked. And one of the things he said was, golf. And I said, okay, well, do you think you're going to go pro? And he started laughing. He said, no, ma'am, I don't. And I said, well, have you thought about turf management? And he had not. And I said, you can be around the sport, but not necessarily play the sport pro. But, turf management is not about residential all the time. Maybe it's athletic, fields and golf courses. And I could see that was the first one I think I have. I think that's why it stands out to me that I really put a bug in somebody's ear about, oh, okay, so I may like football, but I may not go pro, but I could still find myself on the sidelines, medically or through media or, just different options.
Yeah, there's so many different ways to be around what you enjoy.
Yes.
I love that. Okay, now I have, in talking with my Tippah County career coaches this year, I understand that you guys are working your way back to helping middle school age people as well.
Yes. I have met with Burnsville Elementary so far. That's one of our elementary schools that's associated with our county. And I'm working on getting into Iuka Elementary and Middle. We just want to begin exposing the students as early as we can and, line up speakers for them. Or I go down and play a game with them on, careers. I think it's called Career Voodoo or something. I try to make it fun for them and just start talking about it now because they're 7th and 8th graders. They don't know how quickly, they don't realize how quickly they're going to be up there in the 9th grade. And I believe when they're in the 8th grade, they start making their schedule for possibly like CTC classes, which we have a great CTC program. And, they don't know unless they hear about it. And my goal is to just maybe, preempt the talking about the schedules with just exposure to what you could choose from.
Leslie, don't you feel like this sort of attention to the future will help with dropout rates? It'll help children complete school at a higher level than they may have because they will have some direction and some purpose of what they want to do later.
Yes, I don't see how you could go wrong with having someone specifically in your schools whose job is to help you figure out what you want to do when May gets here. And some of them don't know in August. They do not know. Some of them are lined up, ready to go. I have a senior. She's not where I work, but she knows what she wants to do, basically. And she's got hers lined out, and that's great. And there's lots of students that do, but there's some that just don't. And I think that's the best part of my job is helping them realize it's okay if you don't know as long as you're trying to figure it out. And I'm there to help you do that.
Tell our listeners where they can watch your progress this year.
Oh, I have a Facebook profile, Braves Career Coach, and I try to post daily, for sure multiple times a week, on pictures and what we're doing. Like if you came in again to work with the students, I would want to put like your picture up, give a brief like synopsis of what you've done and how that's helped expose them. And, or if we like today, I'll put today on there because I'm getting to come see how a radio studio works. And those students that are interested in any kind of media, I have some knowledge now because I've never done this before. And, you're a little nervous. It's a little fun. And that's something I can take back and tell them about. And it's letting the parents know because, they don't know me. And it's even being there 2 years, it's hard to, when you're not from that county, to know every little person, which kind of is nice too, because everybody's the same.
Right.
And there's nobody that's getting special treatment. Everybody's the same. And that's how I will treat you. And I just want the parents to know how lucky I feel to be in this job with this particular school. Excellent students. I believe you've asked me before when you first came,
what are y'all doing?
What are y'all doing with these kids? They're so well-mannered. I said, I don't know. This is my first year here too. And, you would think they had some kind of little special manners program that they ran them through. And they don't.
Yeah.
I think it's just good people.
They are. I love that school. Sure do.
Yes.
And they're lucky to have you. So thank you for coming over and learning a little bit about radio yourself.
I may have to open up a studio.
You can come work for me.
Okay. All right. We'll do that.
Okay, everybody. That's all the time we have for this edition of Heard It on the Shark. Tune in every Tuesday at 11 a.m. to find out what's happening with our local community leaders. If you have a question, comment, or suggestion for an interview, or if you want access to this interview, go to our website, shark1023.com, and click on the podcast tab. Keep it tuned to the Shark 1023 and have a great rest of the day. Thank you, Leslie.
Oh, you're so welcome.
The Mississippi Hills National Heritage Area was established by the United States Congress in 2009 and represents a distinctive cultural landscape shaped by the dynamic intersection of Appalachian and Delta cultures. This intersection has produced a powerful concentration of nationally significant cultural icons, including King of Rock and Roll Elvis Presley, First Lady of Country Music Tammy Wynette, blues legend Howlin' Wolf, civil rights icons Ida B. Wells Barnett and James Meredith, America's favorite playwright Tennessee Williams, and Nobel laureate William Faulkner. The stories of the Mississippi Hills are many and powerful, from music and literature to Native American and African American heritage to the Civil War. The Mississippi Hills National Heritage Area supports the local institutions that preserve and share Northeast Mississippi's rich heritage. Begin your discovery of the historic, cultural, natural, scenic, and recreational treasures of our region by visiting the Mississippi Hills National Heritage Area online at mississipphills.org.
This show is made possible by JC Media, LLC in Ripley, Mississippi. JC Media owns the Shark 102.3 Classic Rock FM radio station where the show is hosted, and Sun Bear Recording Studio where the interviews are recorded. We need your feedback and support. If you listen to the podcast on a player like iTunes, Google Podcasts, or Amazon Music, please subscribe to the show and leave us a review. We also have an email in which you can share your feedback. That email is theshark1023@gmail.com. Subscribe to our podcast on your favorite app or stream episodes online at shark1023.com/podcasts. Today's episode was produced by Melinda Marsalis. It was edited by Rick Williams and engineered by Chris Marsalis. The podcast technician is Joyce Grady.